Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Samuela Guida, and I am the Strategic Programs and Engagement Manager at the International Water Association. On behalf of our association, I would like to thank the organizer of Blue Planet Berlin Water Dialogues for the opportunity to be here today, presenting IWA and the activities we develop related to the theme of this year's dialogue, Circular Water Economy. We were asked by the organizers to present an overview of our association with a special focus on our activities related to circular economy. So I will start by sharing what is the International Water Association. I believe what best defines us is a very simple sentence: by members, for members. Members are at the core of IWA, and they are what makes us the leading network and a global knowledge hub for water professionals and everyone committed to the future of water. It's through our membership that we are able to deliver our mission of inspiring change and being a global source of knowledge, experience, and leadership towards building a water-wise world. As we are talking about our membership, let's present some numbers. So we currently have around 8,000 active members. Most of them are academics and water professionals working in utilities. We have around 360 corporate members, and this cohort is formed mostly by research institutions, utilities, consultant companies, and technology providers. And also we have around 70 university members. Both corporate and university members nominate a certain number of representatives who can engage in our activities as any other individual members. Finally, we have 62 governing members, which are which represent IWA at national and regional level. They are at the core of the IWA governance, being responsible for electing our board, our president, our vice presidents, and defining the association objectives and strategy. So these are the 62 currently represented countries in our governing assembly. Although this is already a very unique, diverse group, as you can see, we now are focusing on engaging new governing members from countries in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, following our strategic goal of having a more balanced membership basis. So now let's talk about membership engagement. So our members together get together in 51 specialist groups, covering all areas of water-related technology and management. Some of them address very specific topics like the water loss SG, while others are very broad, such as the sustainability in the water sector. So all specialist groups are self-managed by our members, with support of the Secretariat, and together they represent IWA's core vehicle for interaction on scientific, technical, and management challenges, allowing our members to work together to generate outputs, including publications such as book, reports, technical paper, and specialized conference. As most of our SGs organize biannual conference, we internally joke in IWA saying that every 2 weeks there is an IWA conference happening somewhere in the world, which is mostly true. So many of our SGs address topics closely related to the circular economy agenda, including the nutrient removal and recovery specialist group, the resource-oriented sanitation one, the water reuse, and the rainwater harvesting and management SG, among others. So to facilitate systematic conversation across IWA specialist groups, we can form clusters. So clusters usually address cross-cutting issues that are relevant to one of more specialist groups. And we currently have 3 clusters, and the most active is the resource recovery from water cluster. We have another very important community to us, that is the young water professionals, which is formed by members that are below 35 years old.
While our young members can engage in all other activities organized by IWA, they also work together with their peers, organizing young water professional events and forming national young water professional chapters all across the world. Finally, we have the community of fellows and distinguished fellows. These are members recognized by their peers for their sustained outstanding contribution to the national, regional, and global water sector and their continued commitment to IWA. Most of them play important leadership role within the association as they chair specialist groups, they are part of our board, and they can also act as mentors to young members. Now, as you all know, the concept of circular economy is not new, but it has gained significant traction and urgency in recent years. Many of our specialist groups are focused on topics closely related to this theme, and these groups, together or independently from the resource recovery cluster, are constantly producing and sharing knowledge on innovative approaches to promote the sustainable use of water resources and reduce their impact on the environment. So as previously mentioned, one of the most important outputs developed by our specialist groups are their conferences. In 2023, we had 5 conferences directly linked to the concept of circular economy. And the most recent one happened just a few days ago and brought together over 800 people in Shenzhen, China, to share knowledge and experience on economically viable and environmentally attractive concepts of resource recovery for the water cycle. 4 our other conferences are planned for 2024. These will address topics such as resource recovery modeling, resource-oriented sanitation, nutrient removal and recovery, and water reuse. So far, I have presented the work developed by our members with the help of the Secretariat. Now, let me tell you more about programmatic work that is led by the Secretariat with the support of our members. The key difference between this activity is that our member-led action tend to be mostly related to research and knowledge share, while our secretarial-led activities aim to help bridge the gap between science and practice, addressing mostly practitioners. So currently we have 4 strategic programs: the Digital Water Program, the Water and Sanitation Services, Cities of the Future, and Basins of the Future. Within these programs, the Secretariat develops a series of initiatives, which some of them are closely related to the circular economy agenda. So the most recent of our strategic program is the Digital Water Program. So digitalization, as you all know, is happening everywhere around the world and changing the way in which the world operates, delivering value to organizations around the globe. For water utilities, this is not different. Digitalization represents an opportunity to better solve some of the most urgent issues faced by them. So the Digital Water Program promotes dialogues on this topic, aiming to ensure water utilities share their experiences on their digital transformation journey. And all participants in the digital ecosystem share latest trends on technology advances. The ultimate goal of the program is to facilitate access to knowledge and for utility to increase their digitalization. The digitalization of the water sector can play a pivotal role in achieving a circular economy by improving the efficiency, sustainability, and management of water resources through, for example, smart water management, predictive maintenance, monitoring of water quality and treatment processes, and forecasting. By harnessing the power of data, automation, and connectivity, we can better manage and conserve our water resources, ultimately contributing to a more sustainable circular economy. So another initiative I would like to highlight here is the Water-Wise Cities Principle. That is linked to the Cities of the Future program. The principles were originally launched in 2016, and they propose a framework for cities to implement a holistic, transdisciplinary, and integrated water management and planning, addressing the targets of the global climate, development, and urban agendas. The ultimate goal of these principles is to encourage collaborative action underpinned by a shared vision, so the local governments, urban professionals, and individuals can actively engage in addressing and finding solutions for managing all water in the city and increasing the resilience to climate change. Until now, the principles are open for endorsement. By endorsing it, cities, organizations, and water professionals are recognizing the importance of guiding the planning work for our future water-wise cities. So far, we have received 250 endorsements, including over 40 cities from around the globe. And by the way, Berlin is one of these cities. A more recent project led by the Secretariat that is also strongly related to circular economy agenda is the Climate Smart Utility Initiative. The goal of this initiative is to assist water, wastewater, and urban drainage companies in improving their climate resilience by adapting to a changing climate while contributing to significant and sustainable reduction of their carbon emission. This initiative is structured around 4 pillars: a community of practice around adaptation and mitigation, a web platform to support utility sharing resources, a utility leaders peer-to-peer exchange, and finally, a recognition program that is built on IWA vision of how the ideal climate smart utility would look like. The main outputs produced so far that are linked to this pillar are the ECAM assessment tool developed through a partnership within GIZ and IWA. This tool is designed for assessing the carbon emission that utilities can control within the urban water cycle and prepare these utilities for future reporting needs on climate mitigation. Then the web platform that you can see in the screen, where you can access all sorts of materials related to climate change and utilities. And if you're interested, you can visit climatesmartwater.org. Finally, the Utility Leaders Forum, which is held every year during our main Congress, where utility leaders from around the globe can share their experience and discuss challenges of opportunity to build the climate smart utilities. We also have a series of meetings of the community of practice that are linked with this initiative and a series of case stories that address mitigation and adaptation approaches. And finally, the Climate Smart Utility Vision, which informed the first edition on the Climate Smart Utility Recognition Program, which was announced in 2022. For this, we received almost 60 applications from utilities from around the globe, and we recognized the action of 13 of these. So these utilities were invited to present their stories at our Water and Development Congress in Copenhagen, and they were celebrated at the closing ceremony. And now we are running the second edition of this recognition program, which is now focused on low and middle income countries. And these utilities will be recognized at the Water and Development Congress that is coming up next month in Kigali. So finally, the IWA most recent initiative related to circular economy is the inclusive urban sanitation. So this initiative has the very ambitious goal of reshaping the global urban sanitation agenda by focusing on inclusive sanitation services goals and the services system that they are required to achieve them, rather than the traditional singular focus on expanding sewer networks and treatment works. Climate resilience is one of the key aspects to be addressed in this transition. To achieve this ambitious goal, IWA is engaging public, private, and academic sector actors to share their experience and advocate for a public sector approach for urban sanitation, focus on service outcomes. Some of these activities that this initiative have developed are a series of inclusive urban sanitation stories that you can find on our website. the Inclusive Urban Sanitation Champions program to recognize and celebrate the good practices from around the globe. This was launched in September, and the winner will be announced again at the Water Development Congress in Kigali. And finally, this initiative also developed an innovation acceleration forum that is focused on sanitation, which you guessed will be also held during our Rwanda Congress. In addition to strategic programs, our key activities led by the IWA Secretariat are our Tier 1 events. Our next 3 upcoming events are the Digital Water Summit, to be held next week in Bilbao, Spain, the Water and Development Congress that I already mentioned in Kigali, Rwanda in December, and the IWA World Water Congress that will be in August 2024 in Toronto, Canada. As expected, the circular economy is one of the key agenda in all of these 3 events. Finally, I wanted to conclude with another important activity developed by IWA Secretariat, which is related to the collaboration with other stakeholders, including UN agencies, FIIs, other non-profit organizations, and national and local governments, and also the private sector. Most of these collaborations is related to the 2030 agenda, and therefore is closely aligned with the circular economy team. For instance, we had a very strong participation at the 2023 UN Water Conference last March in New York. We hosted one side event at the UN headquarters, 3 other official side events remotely, and we participated as speakers in several other side events organized by the partners. On top of that, we managed to have 14 of our young water professionals as rapporteurs of the 5 interactive dialogues that were hosted by the UN, which was really a unique experience for them. So, I believe I gave you a comprehensive view of all the work that IWA and its members are doing related to circular economy. You have here our webpage and my contact in case you want to know more. Once again, I would like to thank the organizer for the opportunity to be here, and I hope to see you all in the future at ours or our events around the world. So thank you very much.
Samuela, thank you so much. I'm just wondering, there's one question from the audience that I would love to pass along to you. Would that be okay?
Sure. I hope I can answer.
It's too interesting not to ask it. This, I think I mentioned it, at the beginning of the program, that we're joined by people from over 60 countries. So this is a really global event. And one of these attendees is Professor Ed Eduresa, who is joining us from the Philippines today. And shout outs to Ed. He's wondering how the transition to a circular water economy might affect the global South. And are there any EU policies that could have an impact on markets in the global South? And I think that's just a really interesting question.
That's a very, very interesting question that I'll pass to the panel that is just after me. But, not to say, I think it's a very interesting question, and with our activities, we are really trying to address the global South and the challenges that it's facing. IWA has a focus now on the global South because we saw that the water sector is still a global North led sector. But we really have to address the challenges that the Global South faces. And for example, this inclusive urban sanitation initiative that I was mentioning is actually focused on Africa. I cannot actually talk about UN policies, so I'll really pass this to our panelists. But do keep in contact with me and the IWA to know more about what we are doing for the Global South.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuela. It's great to have you on the show. I really appreciate you coming on. And have a great day there in Bristol. And I hope you can stay tuned and listen to our conversations.